Where there is injury, let me so pardon. So if you've been here the last few weeks, you've followed along as we have been exploring and embodying that profound prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. And as I said, whether you come from a Catholic background or Jewish or Buddhist or no religion whatsoever, I think this prayer really does have a very powerful message for all of us, each line individually. And I think especially it's important at this time in our history of evolution for humankind. So to make sure we're all on the same page, I'm going to recite it, but this week I'm going to do it with your help, okay? So you get to fill in all of the missing words. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Lord, make me an instrument of thy...
Peace.
Okay. Where there's hatred, let me sow.
Love.
Where there is injury,
Pardon.
where there is doubt, we haven't gotten to that yet. Faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness,
Light.
very good. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to be understood as to be loved as to.
Love.
For it is in the giving that we,
Receive.
it is in the pardoning that we are,
Pardon.
it is in the dying to self that we are born to eternal life. You guys did great. That was awesome. Well done. Okay, if you need a copy of this, it is out on the welcome table, so you're welcome to take that if you'd like to have one. So as we explore a different line or a couple of lines from this poem each week, I've really asked that we commit, that we all commit, truly commit to being instruments of God or Spirit. And does anyone have any stories that they'd like to share from last week's talk? Last week's talk was where there is hatred, let me sow love. So is there an instant in last week, something that happened, an experience where it would have been easy to go with the opposite direction of love, but you faced it with love?
Yes.
Here, Rich does. Okay.
I am working as a consultant for Galaxy Theaters, and we had to make a presentation where, if everybody knows, if you live locally, Galaxy Theaters in Riverbank, there's one in Tulare. They have 12 theaters in their chain, and not a short story, but 5 of them serve beer and wine. The one in Atascadero that they just opened serves beer and wine. So the idea was to serve beer and wine at the theater. In addition to that, they're going to revamp the whole theater, make it more food items. They'll sell sandwiches, pizzas, things like that. Also, all new seating. So when you're sitting there, instead of fumbling for your drink, you'll actually can pull this.
We don't need a commercial.
Anyway, okay. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. But anyway, so I made my presentation, and this gentleman got up, and his name's
To the Planning Commission.
to the Planning Commission, and he started to spew a lot of things which, in the past, I would have got upset about. I would have got angry. I would have tried to rebut because they were untruths. And they were, your typical, angry person talking. But instead, I closed my eyes and I said, "Bless Charlie, bless Charlie, God bless Charlie, God bless Charlie." I just kept saying that the whole time he was speaking. And what that did for me was it kept me in the now, so I wasn't trying to come up with some great comeback, some great retort. And actually, I felt much more at peace when I was doing that and after it was over. And I guess the bottom line for the evening was the commission approved our request 3-1. So it worked
Moving
out well
forward.
too. But just that blessing him while he was going through his tirade not only helped me out, I think helped everyone out.
Any other?
Well, I just was saying to you this morning, I was watching the Oprah channel, and they had Deepak Chopra, who I like his readings and his books and stuff. He has a show now called The Help Desk, where he just set up a plain desk in Central Park, and people come up and ask him questions about issues that they have. health issues. You know, one gentleman had, you know, his house had been flooded in Sandy, and so it's an interesting way of giving back to the community for nothing. Doesn't charge anything for that, and
And
he
it's a
had-
TV show?
it's a TV show
I mean,
called
that's-
Help Desk.
that's- Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, helped us.
And so it was a night. If you get a chance to tune into it, I think it'll be very much along the lines of our philosophy and
Giving love. Yeah.
beneficial to you know, situations that you might be dealing with yourself or whatever.
That's awesome.
Help Desk.
So I think it's important that we continue to look for those opportunities to sow love where there's hatred, or love going in the opposite direction. And I think that's one of the ways to do that. The prayer of St. Francis is really a beautiful way to remind us to focus continually on peace, on love, on pardon, on faith, on hope, on light, and on joy. And not just this month, because it's so easy to do it just on Sundays or just for a month, but to do this throughout the entire year. And from then on, from this moment forward. So today we're going to look at being instruments of God's pardon. Lord, where there's injury, let me so pardon. And the word injury and pardon are used in different ways than you may think. As I was going through this, I was learning quite a lot. In fact, they are St. Francis's way of expressing his desire to heal the sick and bring recovery to the wounded. So it's not in the same framework that we would have perhaps put it in, because we know that St. Francis was a healer of the sick. His presence among the injured brought about miraculous cures that were inexplicable to the physicians at the time. He believed that being this healing presence was part of his purpose for being here on earth. In his book, That There's a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem, Wayne Dyer writes, St. Francis is asking in this line of the prayer to unite himself so completely with spirit that body and universal mind become one. He prays for the perfection of God's consciousness to permeate his body so he can convey this spiritual energy to those who appear, there's the key word, to be less than whole, because we know that we're all already completely whole, perfect, and complete, right? So sounding a lot like Dr. Holmes, Joel Goldsmith once wrote, "The world is not in need of a new religion, nor is the world in need of a new philosophy. What the world needs is healing and regeneration. The world needs people who, through devotion to God, Spirit, universe, are so filled with the Spirit that they could be instruments through which healing takes place." In other words, we don't need anything new. There's nothing that we just need to practice what we already know. Maybe we're not destined to be saints or Jesus, although who knows, you know. But think about the possibility of opening yourself to an instrument of healing for yourself and for others, brought about by your deep connection with Spirit. It's pretty powerful, isn't it? You know, going through practitioner, you are that instrument. Wayne Dyer says, the closer you stay in harmonious bliss in your thoughts to God, the more you facilitate this one power of the universe in flowing energetically through you. Your thoughts and low energy patterns can activate an ulcer, and so can they activate the flow of the chi to remove that imbalance. The mind-body connection is real, but the God-body connection is the essence of all healing. To see yourself connected to the highest spiritual energy vibrations and to work at staying in that place is to see the underlying principle of healing at work. In her really amazing book, The Physician Within You, Dr. Gladys McGarry relates a conversation she once had with her son, Carl, who had just finished his internship and was specializing in orthopedic surgery. After he told his mother of his fears about having people's lives in his hands, she told him, she said, "Carl, as a surgeon, you may pull an incision together and suture it well, but you cannot make it heal. If you think you are the one who does the healing, you have a right to be scared. But if you understand that you are a channel through which healing moves, and that you are contacting the healing force within your patients, you have nothing to fear. You will have awakened the physician within them and sent them on their way to heal themselves." Pretty interesting concept, isn't it? Isn't that what we're just here to do? To remind each other that we already have that power within? So how do we so pardon where there is injury? For ourselves and for others. Okay, I have a couple of ideas. First, use your thoughts to keep your energy on healing rather than on disease. It's a good one. Or as Mary Morrissey says, come from your vision and not from the condition. It's pretty common to place energy on what's wrong and what we don't want, because that's just the habit of most people, isn't it? Especially in our society. How many times have we said or thought things such as, "Oh, I have a cold and it's only going to get worse," or "there's nothing you can do, it's flu season and it's going around," or on a more serious note, diseases such as AIDS or cancer are incurable, which Louise Hay says incurable only means curable from within, right? Or once you have arthritis, you just have to live with it and manage the pain. I mean, how many people are accepting these limitations? My friend recently had knee surgery, and her doctor, actually, it was knee replacement surgery, told her that she would be in so much pain that she would hate him. Wow. Wow. You know, but these are all ideas that help us manifest more of that which we do not want, right? I mean, they're focusing on what it is we don't want. What we think and say affects our physical well-being and collectively the well-being of humankind. Imagine that. We're pretty powerful. Think about all those commercials we see every fall proclaiming it's flu season and that we need to stock up on this medicine or that medicine, or, you know, once you feel that way, then you need to take this so you could sleep. And not, you know, it's amazing. And we all just watch this and it's all cycling in there. So who benefits? Who benefits from everyone believing that they get sick when it's flu season? Who's the one? Cha-ching. The pharmaceutical companies. Better to counteract those brainwashing messages with our own affirmation that I feel wonderful in every season. I feel wonderful in every season. A newspaper article from 2002 reads, "Optimism may lead to a long life," study says. It goes on to say, think positive. It could postpone death. The latest study confirms previous research and found an even greater impact. According to the findings, research subjects with positive perceptions of their aging processes lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with a negative self-perception. The 600 people studied were age 50 or older at the time of questioning in 1975 by Miami University researchers in Oxford, Ohio. Why would Miami University? Okay, anyway, they were asked a variety of questions, 5 of them really, relating to aging. Questions such as you get older, do you believe you are less useful? And as you get older, are things better, worse, or the same as you thought they would be? More than 2 decades later, scientists analyzed the answers to those questions. Then they compared the answers with death records to see how long the subjects lived. The researchers controlled for factors such as overall health, age, when surveyed, loneliness, gender, and social economic status. Taking all this into account, it was statistically verified that people's perception of aging predicted the length of their lives. How or why that worked is another matter. Researchers could not attribute it to a single psychological or biological mechanism. That's because, first, it's a spiritual mechanism. Dr. Sheldon Deal at Big Sky gave a presentation on what we believe middle age is. This was quite the presentation. What do you think middle age is? What number do you think is middle age? You say
50. 40.
20.
no. You said 40, right? You said 60. What he was saying, he says, I'm here to help you realize the middle age is 60. And what he did was the muscle test, and what he did is he had someone lay up here and he tested their muscle resistance. And what happens is that if you don't believe it, you have no strength. If your body doesn't believe what you're telling it, you have no strength in that arm and it just goes right down. But he did some procedures to help people bring it up to 60 because that's what he believed. And it was quite an amazing presentation. Do you remember what it was he actually did to help them? Because I think that is just an important thing. What we believe has so much impact on what our reality is. So if you have middle age is 60, that means we're living to 120, right? I mean, I like that. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. You've got a picture of it? Oh, I'll have to look at that. But anyway, he was quite amazing. He's in his 70s, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he still works full time, you know, and he's got his clinic down in.
And he doesn't look much, I mean, he was Mr. Arizona in his 20s.
In his 20s.
And then, you know,
Yeah.
his appearance has hardly changed at all. But he'll say, you know, your cells regenerate every so many days.
Uh-huh.
And so the only reason that you have illness, etc., is because you retain the memory of
Right.
that in your cells. And so if you can release the memory of an
injury or whatever, then your cells
you
are free.
can improve
He
the
was just
healing.
pretty amazing. I was pretty impressed with him.
Mhm.
Very good. But as the Bhagavad Gita says, curving back within myself, I create again and again. And that's exactly what he's saying. You know, we create our own reality. Regarding your physical well-being, here's a vitally important question. Can you afford the consequences of what you are thinking? Good one to think about, especially when we're going down that negative path. Second, realize that here is the relationship between health and purpose. Okay, so in her book, The Architecture of All Abundance, Leander Carroll suggests that when we feel we are serving our purpose for being here, the joyfulness that ensues provides an environment in the body which a virus or bacteria cannot take hold. This is amazing stuff. True, we are constantly bombarded. You hear about it. You know, scientists say, oh, there's germs. There's germs here and there's germs there. And pollutants. Oh, air quality is this and that. But they have specific frequencies. And the vibration of joy creates a wave that acts as a shield so that constant bombardment has no effect. It can't get through. Why are some people never, ever, ever, ever sick? Never. Why is it that they can walk through, you know, a hospital with a lot of contagious people? They don't get sick. Grounding ourselves in the knowledge that we're here on purpose provides an anchor that brings rhythm into our lives. This assists the body to go through our growth and changes gracefully. The basic purpose of each one of us is to express God, to express spirit, to express love. Secondarily, how do we do that individually? What are the dreams of your heart? Listen to them. Feeling like you are on purpose and living your dreams is good for your health. And supporting and uplifting others as they live theirs is good for theirs. That is one reason it's really important, I think, that we have this center where we can meet people that are willing to know the truth about you and to support you in your dreams, and that they can support you as well, because that's what we're all about. And number 3, finally, remember who you are. As you seek to bring pardon to the presence of injury, be aware that the presence of the injury is an indication of a belief in spiritual separation. And that's the key to all of it. When we feel we're separate, that's the one thing that needs to be healed in all cases. We forget that we're one. We forget that we're one with Spirit. Don't use this as an opportunity to feel guilty or weak, but remind yourself to shift away from your sense of being separate from Spirit. Get into that meditative moment. Just the first 2, and God expresses as me. And God expresses as me. There is no separation. The moment that you use your mind to see yourself as connected to Spirit, as part of Spirit, you begin the process of revealing your own spiritual perfection. In How to Use the Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes wrote, no healing can be permanent, no treatment, no matter how well intentioned, is adequate unless the consciousness of the individual is awakened to the realization that the individual life is God manifesting as that life. We are the way that God experiences this realm, this physical realm. Dr. Holmes said over and over again, and so we do, an awareness of the presence of God is the secret power of our work. Talk about healing and illness versus revealing a spiritual truth. In the Isaiah Effect, Gray Braden writes, the fundamental tenet of Essene healing is that we are already healed. It's kind of like Alice and her question, what are you imagining for tomorrow? What's happened tomorrow? We are already healed. Within each moment of our time in this world, we make choices either affirming or denying the life that already exists in our body. Treat and demonstrate, pray and manifest. There is no great or small in the mind that knoweth all, right? Go for the things that make life more congenial. Enjoy and appreciate the things of beauty and comfort. Wasn't it amazing to step outside this morning and smell that freshness? I mean, that was one moment of beauty that I will carry with me all week long. It was gorgeous. But above all, continue to work for the consciousness of wholeness, of oneness. Work for the healing that lasts. So, here are a few ideas on how you can be an instrument of God's pardon, how you can be a force of healing, revealing in this world. Be mindful, very, very mindful of your thoughts and words around illness and disease. Get about being on purpose and uplift and support others as they get about theirs. And above all, remember who you really are and that there really is nothing to be healed, only who you and others are to be revealed. And I trust this week and from this moment on that you'll take me up on these ideas and not treat them like the old mountaineer treated his doctor's advice. After a thorough examination, the doctor gave the old man instructions about what he should eat and how he should exercise. As the patient got up to leave, the doctor said, "That will be $50. "What for?" asked the mountaineer. "For my advice," replied the doctor. "Then I owe you nothing," said the mountaineer, "'cause I ain't going to take any of it." Take this advice and choose today to be instruments of God's pardon. And come back next week and share your stories so we can all enjoy how the world is changing through each and every one of us. And so it is.